The animal kingdom of the African continent is incredibly diverse. Unique Africa is home to giraffes, zebras, lions, rhinos, elephants, antelopes, and swift cheetahs. And also, it is home to unique animals that stand out from the rest. These are hippos. Shall we get to know them better? Learn more about them. Hippos are among the largest land animals that exist today on the planet. In terms of size, they can be compared to rhinos and elephants. Hippos are truly enormous. The average weight of a hippo is around 7,716 pounds, although some individuals can weigh over 4 tons. While these are mostly exceptions, males typically weigh around 3,527 pounds, with females being slightly smaller, weighing just over 1,000 pounds. Hippos can reach up to 5.4 feet in height, with an adult body length measuring at least 10 feet, and sometimes even up to 16 feet. Their place in the natural taxonomy is as follows. The common hippopotamus, Hippopotamus amphibius, is a mammal belonging to the order of even-toed ungulates, the suborder of non-ruminants, and a family of hippos. Interestingly, it is the only living species of the genus Hippopotamus. In most European languages, the variant name hippopotamus is used for a hippo, which comes from the Greek language and means river horse. The word hippo itself traces back to ancient Hebrew, where the name behemoth translates as beast or animal. The term hippopotamus has since become a synonym for these magnificent creatures. And if you dare to venture to the African continent in search of unforgettable experiences, keep in mind that hippos can run on land much faster than you and I. Furthermore, let us remember that a hippo is not a domesticated dog with wagging tails where a simple stick can save you. It is one of the most dangerous animals to humans in the wilds of Africa. The number of victims from hippo attacks far surpasses those from lion, buffalo, or leopard attacks. The appearance of a hippo is quite distinctive. It has a massive barrel-shaped body supported by short and thick legs. The hippo's legs are so disproportionate that its belly almost touches the ground when it walks. The large and bluntly shaped head resembles a rectangle and weighs about a quarter of its total mass, reaching up to around 1,984 pounds. The nostrils, eyes, and ears are aligned all in the same place, allowing the hippo to breathe, see, and hear simultaneously while submerged in water, with only the upper part of its head exposed. The neck is very short and fairly noticeable. Hippos have small but bulging eyes with fleshy eyelids, and their pupils resemble the letter T. Their vision is well adapted to both bright and dark times of the day. The hippo's nostrils are wide and upward-facing, capable of closing tightly due to well-developed nasal muscles. Their ears are small but highly mobile. When a hippo is in the water, it constantly moves its ears, causing them to flicker like leaves on a tree, helping to ward off insects or persistent birds that may land on its head. The muzzle of a hippo is very broad, with its massive front part covered in short and coarse vibrissae, thick hairs for tactile sensation. The width of its jaws reaches 23 to 27 inches, and the massive mouth can open up to almost 180 degrees. In adult hippos, the width spans up to 1.5 meters. The strength of a hippo's jaws is such that it can easily crush the spine of even a fully grown crocodile. Each limb has 4 toes, each ending in a hoof. The toes are connected by a membranous webbing, aiding the hippo's swimming abilities. As for the hippo's tail, it acts as a true fan. Although short, its unique shape allows it to splash dung, which holds significant communicative value for hippos. These animals exhibit relatively weak sexual dimorphism. Females are slightly smaller than males, although the difference in mass is insignificant. Furthermore, adult males have more developed canines. The bases of their canines are so large that they create noticeable bulges behind the nostrils, making it easy to distinguish a male, even if only the head is visible above water. The skin color of a hippo is usually grayish-brown, while the skin around the eyes and ears is pink. The back, especially the rear part of the body, tends to be darker, a rich shade of gray. The skin of males is often covered in scars and scratches acquired during fights with unruly conspecifics. It is extremely thick, up to 3 inches, and not at all furry. Coarse bristles only grow at the tip of the tail and the edges of the ears. The thinnest skin is found at the base of the tail, which is why injections are administered to sick hippos in zoos precisely in that area. It is the only place where the needle can reach the animal's veins, as performing such a procedure on the back is practically impossible. It is worth noting that skilled zoo care professionals must be highly trained for these tasks. Veterinarians use thin metal wire to stitch wounds on feisty hippos. Regular thread or dense twine is unsuitable for this procedure. When a hippo spends a long time on land, it rapidly loses water through its skin, which dries out and starts to crack. Hippos do not have sweat glands, but they have other glands that secrete a reddish mucus secretion during intense heat. Sometimes it may seem as if the animal is injured and bleeding, but in reality, it is the reddish sweat flowing over its body. This secretion protects the skin from sunburn and acts as an excellent disinfectant. The pigments in the bloody sweat possess antiseptic properties, promoting the healing of numerous scratches that are always present on a hippo's skin. Hippos have 36 teeth in their mouth. Each jaw contains 2 enormous canines, the length of which astonishes researchers, reaching up to 23 inches. The upper layer of enamel on their canines possesses incredible hardness and strength, yet hippos never chew plants when feeding. Their canines primarily serve as powerful weapons and tools for digging the soil. The sharpness of their canines is maintained through self-sharpening as they rub against the lower teeth. Canines have no roots and continue to grow throughout their lives, sometimes reaching a weight of up to 6.6 pounds. Hippos lead a strictly rhythmic daily life. During the day, they spend their time in the water, either sleeping or dozing off on shallow banks, submerging themselves with only their upper heads and backs exposed. However, as darkness falls, hippos leisurely head out to feed and return satisfied and content at dawn. Adult males without harems often live solitarily. Fierce territorial battles frequently arise between these hippos. The conflict of interests begins with a familiar ritual. Opponents stand facing each other for a long time, mouths wide open, displaying their formidable canines. Hippo fights typically last for up to 2 hours and are characterized by unprecedented brutality. Fatalities during such encounters are commonplace. Enraged animals inflict terrible wounds and injuries upon each other, and the victor often pursues the fleeing vanquished to bite off their tail. But sometimes the confrontation never escalates into a fierce fight. The one who unconditionally acknowledges defeat quickly dives and swims away from the stronger adversary. Aggressive hippos will not tolerate proximity to conspecifics, let alone other large animals that dare to approach. It so happens that hippos engage in battles even with elephants and rhinos. During the sunlit hours, a remarkable sight unfolds as the hippo instinctively rises to the surface, gasping for precious air. In the aqueous realm, it navigates the underwater terrain with the grace and familiarity of a terrestrial wanderer, employing the same rhythmic leg movements while swimming as it does while ambling on land. Breaking through the water's surface, the hippo exhales with a thunderous exhalation, spraying the air with a ballet of mist, creating ethereal fountains that rival the grandeur of their marine kin, the whales. Yet, the hippopotamus's talents extend beyond the water's edge. On terra firma, its measured stride belies a surprising lightness and elegance that defies its massive frame. But when spurred to action, the hippo reveals a staggering burst of speed, propelling itself with thunderous force at speeds reaching a breathtaking 30 miles per hour. To witness the spectacle of an enraged hippo charging across the landscape is to witness an unstoppable force. Nature, a primal force that leaves little hope for escape in its wake. Social dynamics play out in the hippo's world, where they congregate in intimate groups of 20 to 30 individuals, occasionally swelling into grand assemblages of up to 150 or even 200 members. When adversity strikes and water sources dwindle, these gatherings intensify, transforming into high-stakes arenas of survival. The struggle for prime positions, where the life-giving water lies within reach, becomes a battleground of primal instincts. In this tumultuous arena, alliances are forged, hierarchies fiercely contested, and the relentless clashes for dominance reverberate with raw power and unyielding determination. Within the realm of the hippopotamus, a captivating world unfolds, where their aquatic finesse and terrestrial majesty intertwine in a mesmerizing display of natural wonder. It is a realm of fluid grace, explosive energy, and untamed passions, where the ebb and flow of life's forces shape the destiny of these magnificent creatures. The exchange of vocal and other communicative signals holds immense significance for hippos, as it enables them to unmistakably identify one another. For these social mammals living in herds, signaling communication takes precedence. Hippos possess a fairly developed vocal system, producing a diverse array of signals, each carrying informative undertones. During mating season, the female emits a loud bellow to attract the attention of the male. In turn, the male produces a sound resembling the neighing of a horse, perhaps providing one of the reasons why the Greeks once referred to hippos as river horses. The vocal power of a hippo is quite impressive, reaching up to 110 decibels. On windless days, it resonates powerfully across the water for several hundred meters. An incredibly important aspect of communication among hippos is the splattering of excrement and urine. With swift, swirling movements of their tails, hippos scatter their droppings both on land and in water. The splatter reaches in all directions, even reaching the treetops, sending a powerful message: there's a dominant and determined owner here, and uninvited guests better find another path. This peculiar habit of hippos splattering their droppings adds some complexity to their maintenance in zoos and wildlife parks, as it requires a fair amount of effort. Caretakers have to diligently clean the enclosure walls several times a day, as the restless hippos continuously soil them. On the other hand, female hippos mark their personal space daily with massive piles of excrement, reaching substantial dimensions, up to 3 feet in height and 6.5 feet in diameter. These piles are renewed every day. The markings left by urine not only allow hippos to recognize their kin, but also provide information about the readiness of females or males for mating. Interestingly, the hippo's olfactory system is structured in such a way that upon submerging, the animal can draw in a certain amount of water through its nostrils and easily recognize its kin by the scent of dissolved urine within it. Hippos are herbivorous animals. However, recent compelling evidence from scientists suggests that they can be considered facultative predators. Nevertheless, the main diet for hippos remains semi-aquatic or terrestrial grass. Interestingly, hippos never feed on aquatic vegetation. Typically, they graze on land using their tough, callous lips to strip the grass right down to its roots. In areas with intense grazing by hippos, the grass is literally mowed down, as if it were trimmed by a sharp mower. An adult hippo can consume up to 154 pounds of food per day, but on average, around 88 pounds is sufficient. The length of a hippo's intestine reaches up to 196 feet, ensuring efficient digestion with a high degree of assimilation. During feeding, a hippo will keep its distance and not allow anyone to come near, not even by an inch. It graciously allows only females with young offspring to graze nearby. Let's emphasize the predatory behavior of hippos. Their consumption of meat has been confirmed. For example, 2 African guides witnessed hippos indulging in antelopes, specifically Thompson's gazelles, as they attempted to cross the Mara River during seasonal migration. Reports from Ethiopia revealed that hippos systematically attacked herds of cattle, causing significant damage to local farmers. Well, hunger is the best sauce, you know? The reproduction of hippos remains relatively understudied compared to similar research on other large African animals like elephants or rhinos. Females reach sexual maturity between 7 and 15 years of age, while males mature a few years earlier, between 6 and 14 years. Typically, mating occurs twice a year, in February and August, with slightly more than half of the offspring born during the bountiful rainy season. In a hippo herd, usually only one dominant male has the right to mate. The gestation period for a female lasts approximately 8 months. Prior to giving birth, she separates herself from the herd and seeks seclusion. Births can occur both in water and on land. In the latter case, the female constructs a primitive nest made of trampled grass and shrubs. A newborn hippo weighs between 59 and 110 pounds and measures about 3.2 feet in length. When a calf is born in the water, the mother gently guides it to the surface for its first breath, as the calf is unable to hold its breath for longer than 40 seconds and could drown. When births occur on land, it is much simpler. Within about 5 minutes, the newborn hippo is able to stand on its own. During the first 10 days after giving birth, the female does not eat anything and stays close to the newborn until it becomes strong enough to venture onto the shore independently. A hippo mother is a caring nurturer. In defense of her calf, she can exhibit incredible strength, fury, and determination, enabling her to fend off even lions. In an astonishing account of natural resources, 2 lions attempted to snatch a calf, but its mother, arriving just in time, fearlessly submerged one of the attackers in the mud. That's how it goes. For the next year and a half, the calf will suckle milk from its mother, both on land and in the water. Interestingly, the hippo is one of the rare examples among mammals, along with cetaceans and manatees, where the calf is capable of nursing underwater. The reproduction rate of hippos is higher compared to other large animals in Africa. This is due to the early sexual maturity of hippos, the significantly shorter gestation period compared to elephants, and the fact that female hippos give birth every 2 years, which is twice as often as elephants. Therefore, in the absence of external threats, the hippo population can quickly recover, showing a growth rate of up to 10% per year. In the wild, hippos have a hard time finding true enemies. However, lions have always posed a serious threat to them. Despite the adult male hippo's convincing size, immense strength, and long, dangerous tusks, it can still become an unreachable target for even a few hunting lions. That is, of course, unless the hippo has the opportunity to retreat to the water. Interestingly, there are reports of a large hippo being attacked by 3 hungry lions at once. But it proved to be swifter. It escaped and dragged all 3 audacious attackers into the water, where they had to swim for their lives. Nevertheless, lions often successfully hunt adult hippos if they manage to catch them by surprise while grazing, especially when far from the shore. In the wild, hippos coexist quite well with crocodiles. They generally do not conflict with each other and can sometimes even drive away potential enemies from the water source together. It's hard to believe, but female hippos often leave their calves with crocodiles to protect them from lions and pesky hyenas. Young crocodiles, without hesitation, climb onto the backs of adult hippos. Collective safety in the wild is key to survival. However, in some cases, large male hippos and females with their young can show extreme aggression towards crocodiles, and in turn, without hesitation, crocodiles can devour unattended hippo calves. By the way, smaller hippos face no less threat from their own kind. Adult hippos in a crowd can trample them, even though the females do not allow other hippos near their offspring. In Africa, where they reside, hippos often find themselves in direct proximity to humans, which puts significant pressure on their population. Unfortunately, human activities have had a catastrophic impact on the decline of hippos in the wild. First, a major threat comes from rampant poaching for hippo meat and ivory. Secondly, the reduction of their habitat due to the expansion of agricultural needs driven by irresponsible decisions to clear coastal lands, which serve as traditional habitats and feeding grounds for hippos. Irrigation projects, dam construction, and artificial alterations to river flows also negatively affect the hippo population. Not to mention the illegal trade in hippo ivory, which is alarming in both its scale and audacity. What is even more disheartening is that this profitable business shows a steady upward trend. Tens of tons of hippo ivory are seized from poachers and traffickers. Criminal entities tirelessly promote hippo tusks as an alternative to elephant ivory, as the trade of the latter is strictly controlled by the international community. Experts from the International Red List acknowledge the bleak reality. The factors threatening the hippo population will not diminish in the near future. Hippo meat has long been consumed by Africans, which is why some countries periodically allow unrestricted hunting of hippos. As we know, permission is not synonymous with prohibition. It grants free rein to do as one pleases. For many African communities, residing along riverbanks and lakeshores, hunting hippos has been a long-standing tradition. Even wielding primitive weapons, indigenous tribes have displayed remarkable efficiency in hunting these colossal creatures. The most prevalent method, in the absence of firearms, involved trapping the animals in cunning pits. Remarkably, this hunting technique persists to this day, allowing skilled poachers to operate discreetly without drawing attention to their actions. In the mid-20th century, during the 1950s and 60s, hippos were once envisioned by some researchers as domesticatable animals, a potential solution to Africa's food security challenges. The sheer size of hippopotamuses, their ability to live in large herds, their rapid reproductive rates, and their relatively low food requirements ignited fervent imaginations, promoting the belief that breeding hippos could be an immensely promising venture. Some proponents even calculated that a single herd of hippos could yield enough meat to sustain a small town. However, these visionary projects never transcended the realm of theoretical studies. It remains unclear what led to the abandonment of these ambitious food strategies, but as of yet, not a single farming operation has substantiated such economic viability. Zoological gardens began featuring hippos in the mid-19th century. The first of these magnificent creatures arrived at the London Zoo in the distant year of 1850. The sight of this marvel left citizens in a state of awe, drawing tens of thousands of visitors each day. Nowadays, hippos thrive in captivity across the globe, successfully reproducing. However, the proper care and maintenance of these mighty creatures come at a considerable cost. So, the age-old saga of the hippo and human continues, intertwining tales of ancient hunting traditions, ambitious farming dreams, and the mesmerizing allure they hold over curious onlookers in zoos worldwide. While the thick hide of a hippopotamus limits its practical uses to some extent, it possesses remarkable strength and durability that withstands the test of time. When properly treated, the texture of hippo skin becomes extraordinarily tough, although the meticulous process can take up to 6 years. This unique material can then be transformed into exquisite grinding wheels, which fascinatingly are exclusively employed for diamond processing. Centuries ago, indigenous tribes ingeniously harnessed the power of hippo skin to create impenetrable shields. These shields stood as unparalleled defenses, impervious to even the sharpest arrowheads. Among the notable items crafted from hippo skin, the heavy whip known as a sjambok holds a significant place. Once a symbol of colonial oppression in South Africa, these whips were meticulously fashioned from hippo skin, measuring 4.9 feet in length and almost 1 inch in thickness. Their impact was undeniably painful, leaving a lasting impression. The tusks of the hippopotamus, especially the colossal canines of the males, continue to hold significant commercial value to this day. Prior to processing, the tusks are immersed in acid to remove the excessively hard layer of enamel on the surface. Although this procedure reduces their weight by up to a third, the treated tusks are esteemed even more highly than elephant ivory. Unlike ivory, hippo tusks do not yellow with time and boast greater durability. Among all animal-derived materials used for decorative purposes, hippo teeth reign supreme as the toughest. Hippo tusks find diverse applications in the creation of consumer goods. Skilled artisans fashion unique souvenirs to cater to every taste, and their price reflects their exceptional craftsmanship rather than mere pocket change. In the past, hippo tusks were even utilized for crafting high-quality dental prosthetics. Interestingly, biographers of the first president of the United States, George Washington, assert with authority that his set of dentures was indeed fashioned from hippo tusks. Whether one chooses to believe this claim or approach it with skepticism, the fact remains undisputed. The hippopotamus, due to its massive size and extremely aggressive behavior, is one of the most dangerous animals in Africa for humans. Their apparent childishness can be deceptive, as these animals are cunning masters of deception, giving an impression of absolute indifference. However, at the slightest opportunity, they change their intentions, and trouble follows. Moreover, hippos are bold and unceremonious, taking advantage of the chance to graze on farmland and causing significant damage to crops. In countries with a high hippo population, they are considered major pests of agricultural lands. A significant number of hippo attacks on humans occur when the animal ventures out to feed in the fields. The hippo ravages everything in its path, often destroying an entire field of plants overnight due to its insatiable appetite. A considerable portion of tragic incidents happens during the harvest season. Most hippo attacks on humans occur at dawn when satisfied hippos return to the water. Why? Because desperate farmers, clad only in their underwear and without a firearm, make noise and fuss in their distress. Hippos often charge at passing boats, particularly females with offspring. With little effort, a hippo can smash or overturn a large boat while attempting to attack people who have fallen into the water and are helplessly struggling. The hippo is commonly associated with causing the highest number of human fatalities, surpassing all other African animals in this regard, including dangerous predators such as lions, buffaloes, leopards, and crocodiles. Interestingly, the number of fatal encounters between humans and hippos continues to rise each year. The reason is evident: the rapid population growth in Africa and radical changes in agricultural and farming practices, leading to the exploitation of new fertile lands along the water's edges. The hippopotamus has been familiar to humans since prehistoric times. The ancient Egyptians, undoubtedly the first known civilization with an extensive population of hippos, held a special reverence for them. However, Egyptians also frequently hunted hippos using handheld harpoons. Depictions of such hunting scenes involving pharaohs have survived to this day, such as in the tomb of Tutankhamun. Europeans became acquainted with hippos during the days of antiquity. The ancient Greeks were also quite familiar with hippos, as they are mentioned by Herodotus, and the name hippopotamus itself is derived from the Greek language. Hippos were also well known to the Romans, especially after the inclusion of African provinces in the vast Roman Empire. The main, and perhaps only, practical use of hippos by the Romans was to supply these animals for fights in circuses, involving both other animals and courageous gladiators. It is worth mentioning that during the grand spectacles arranged by Emperor Titus in Rome in 81 AD, on the occasion of the opening of the Colosseum, approximately 9,000 different animals were killed in the arena, including one hippo. Oh, how times have changed. It would hardly be an exaggeration to say that hippos are still one of the most famous animals today. They are practically obligatory characters in children's literature and animated films. For example, the lovable Hilda Hippo, a favorite among kids, is one of the characters in the animated film series about Mickey Mouse. We have endeavored to portray them in a way that ignites an irresistible desire within you to witness their presence in the wild with your own eyes. If the opportunity arises, do make a visit to Africa. It will astound and enchant you with countless wonders of nature, including the graceful hippos. They will eagerly gaze upon you and greet you with a gentle flutter of their ears as a gesture of welcome.